Talking Nonsense Blues. I was pulling weeds out of my garden when a worm crawled out and says, I beg your pardon. You see that robin up there in that tree? He's hungry and he's got his eye on me. And I was wondering, you got a place I can hide and maybe bum a ride to a new town and break new ground without worrying about being swallowed down. I said, sure enough, just crawl into this cup and I'll put the lid on and cover you up, and then I'll go find my pole. Then you and I'll say hello to my favorite fishing hole. Talking Nonsense Blues. A mosquito landed on the side of my brain and said, don't worry, this won't cause you no pain. My name is Skeeter and I need some blood. I thought I'd poke around a bit and just to fill out my jug. I said, hey, help yourself, Skeeter, I got more than I need to hear. Wait a minute and I'll roll out my sleeve, so he lit on my ear. Chucked a lug of beer while I exposed my major artery. Then he poked in deep to the end of his nose, and when he's filled up and fixing to go, I slapped him on the back. He said, splat, and Lord, that was the end of that. Yeah, Talking Nonsense Blues. I was sitting on my porch with a beer in my hand when a mouse drove up in a big old van. I'm the cheese inspector, he said with a grin. He flashed me a badge as he walked on into my kitchen. If you ain't got a permit and I find cheese, I'll have to confiscate it. Hey man, I got no problem with that. I got a permit for the cheese I got in my mouse trap. He looked around from room to room, but when he found what was sleeping behind my broom, he screamed, I grinned. Uncle Tom had him, and he's Uncle Tomcat. Uncle Tomcat, he did the grinning. I was getting all dressed up to go to the dance, and when I found out that I had ants in my pants, I said, hey guys, are you down there? You can't dance in my underwear. But they kept on clogging to a Cajun beat, clapping their hands, stomping their feet. One had a guitar, another a fiddle, one an accordion. Strapped to his middle, they clogged in a row. I tore my jeans, I did a dosey-dose to the washing machine. I hit spin, I tossed them in, and then I dressed. And I went to the tavern, yeah, Talking Nonsense Blues. I saw a ducker walking on my front lawn. I said, hey, Mr. Quacker, what's it going on? He says, well, I've been here just hanging around. Now I'm so bad I can't get my feet off the ground. And I was wondering, you got a place I can roost? Maybe in the morning you can give me a boost to get me on my way. 'Cause nothing would be finer than to be in Carolina in a couple of days. Come on in and get the wet feathers off while I heat up the oven, grease up the pot. You're in luck, I'm a cooking roast duck, yeah. And I think you're here to stay. Talking Nonsense Blues. A squirrel climbed up into my nut tree and I started throwing my nuts at me. He says, hey, Mr. Man, have you gone nuts? There's enough nuts for the two of us. Well, he flickered his tail and led another sail. I ran for cover, he threw another, so I grabbed my 410, threw a blast at him. Nuts went flying, but I missed him. So I got my chainsaw, fired up. Then I sawed that tree down, and then I sawed it up. That squirrel in my nut tree throwing my nuts at me. Done drove me nuts. Yeah, Talking Nonsense Blues. Oh. Hey, hey, hey. I think I'm pretty now.